just refresh your sessions. They should be back up. I just rebooted all the servers, so we should be okay. Reset everything. Just I will just close out the browser. Open the browser back up. Let me check something for y'all. Oh, sorry. Should be able to close out the browser, bring the browser back up. If you are able to get in, give me a thumbs up. Leave the check on your screen so I can make sure. Close the browser and bring it back up. Close the browser and bring it back up. It's that AWS cloud we're working with. If you are able to connect, leave the green check or the thumbs up on your screen. Just leave it on there so I can make sure. If you're not able to connect, again, close out your browser, go back into it, open it back up, go back into it. If you're not able to get in, somebody got it. Who's Joseph? Joseph, what's up, Joe? Atiba, close the browser, bring it back up. Try it a few times. Okay, 1 second. Post your server. Post the IP address that you guys are not able to get in. If you're not able to get in, put the red X on your screen so I can make sure. Okay, same one. Okay, 1 second. It's the same one. 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. All right, try it now. Refresh, try it now. If you're not able to get in, leave the red check on. Post the server that you're not able to get into, but I just reset everything. Close out the browser, go back into it. If you're able to get in, give me a green, leave your green check up. Okay, 1 second. Okay, refresh again on that server. Go in. Should be okay. Close the browser completely out. Jump back in. Give me a green check mark. Let me see that green. Leave it up. If you have a, if you're not able to get in, give me the red. But refresh the browser. Jump back in. If you're able to get in now, turn that red into green. Let's see a few reds. See one red. Oh, you need the link? 1 second. Please leave your phone on mute. Go. If you're just coming back on, reset your browser, close out your browser, open it back up. You should be able to get in. You should have a, if you're able to get in, you're getting a login prompt. It should have refreshed you. You should be able to get in now at this point because I'm getting greens all over. If you're not able to get in, give me a red X. All right, so we're running on time. Here we go. I'm about to share the screen. Make sure I got the right thing going on. All right, we're sharing the screen. Here we go. We're doing it. All right, all green. We should be good. No issues. Threat hunting. Let me talk about this real quick. Let me get on my soapbox because there's a lot of bigwigs, or I want to say hidden figures, or not hidden figures, but a lot of people in the industry that tells you. I keep hearing this statement. For those who are trying to be in the SOC, I keep hearing this statement. In order to be a good blue team, you got to know red team. That is true. However, in order to be a good blue teamer, you need to know blue team. Okay? It makes no sense. And so these same people who tell you, you got to know, in order to be a good blue team, you got to know red teaming. They're showing you attacks. Okay? That's cute. That's cool. They will put you in Hack the Box. They will put you in, Kali Linux, or what's the other joint? Hack the Box, Kali Linux, or Try Hack Me, to learn these different hacking techniques. That's all good and well. However, when it comes down to being a SOC analyst, it makes no sense to know all these commands, to know how to do all these different types of attacks, if you can't come onto my computer or a computer that you've attacked and show an organization, show a hiring manager, show whoever is protecting the organization how you did it. It makes no sense to know how to do red team if you don't know how to watch it or catch it on the blue team side. So threat hunting is a big deal in cybersecurity. If you ask the same people, it's people who told, oh, I went to this level, I went to that level, I went to this board. But if you ask them to come show you on the system Show me evidence that this malware executed. Show me what you just did. Show me the logs of what you just did on my computer. They couldn't tell you. They're lost. Your very first job is not going to be red team. It's very rare that happens. Very, very rare that happens. Your very first job is going to be blue team. You're either going to be a SOC analyst, you're either going to be at least a vulnerability analyst, something of that nature first before you jump into the red team side. It's too competitive, it's too small. You got to be very, very skilled in most cases. Realistically speaking, your very first job was not going to be red team. It's going to be blue team. So when I'm trying to chase blue team jobs, I'm not putting try hack me on my resume. I'm not putting Kali Linux on my resume. I'm not putting hack the box on my resume. I'm putting what they actually want. What do they need you to know? Companies don't have issues or don't have a need for people to hack. They have a need for people who can catch the hacker. So if you know how to hack and you know all the commands that you write from a script, but you can't catch it on the system, you have a very, very hard time trying to get into cybersecurity, at least as a SOC analyst. So what I want to show you today is something called threat hunting. Let me get off my soapbox. What we looking for? We ain't looking for a Kali Linux in the SOC. We're looking for APT, Advanced Persistent Threat. These are threat actors. These are way advanced groups. They're state-sponsored, either by a country or by an underground cyber group. What they do is they get into your system and they stay in there for long periods of time. That's why you hear on the news some of these organizations don't find out that they've been hacked or breached until 90 days or later, because APT is involved. They're advanced, they're persistent, and they are a threat. But along with APTs, what they do, what they use is tactics, techniques, and procedures. These are the different ways that they can get into your system and do some things or hide in your system. Different ways that they can perform their attack on you. There's no straight cookie cutter script. Again, we're not looking for Kali Linux. We're looking for APT. They're way more stealthier. They're way more, they know the system more than the defender in most cases. They know the system more than the people on the network in most cases. And so they know how to move, they know how to blend in. That's what we're looking for in the SOC. What they use is live off the land binaries. So those little scripts y'all run, like the Metasploit scripts, and all these little scripts that y'all will run in Kali Linux or Hack the Box and all that, guess what they're most likely doing? They're going to try to bind a port and use a binary on that system that we're looking for. They're going to use a binary to try to do these following commands. Either they're going to execute or compile some code. They're going to download some files, copy some files. They're going to maintain persistence. That's why they're advanced persistent. They're in that system or in that network long periods of time to a point where you're not even going to find them unless they want you to find them. In some cases, there are ways to find them, but they can use these binaries to bypass user access controls. So you may be locked down to a certain resources, but they may use a certain binary to bypass those type of rules. They're here to steal credentials. They love credentials. They're here to do a memory or process dumps to get information from that. They can do spyware. They can spy on your system. They've been in systems long and before than anybody else. They know the systems better than most defenders. They're that stealthy. They can evade or modify logs. We see that in some of these logs that we're looking at. Or they can hijack or sideload a DLL. DLL is used to load an executable application in most cases. These are the certain things they do, and they use these live off the land binaries. Live off the land binaries are the binaries or the processes and services that have been signed by the operating system. Microsoft signs a whole lot of them. They've been used to do good stuff, but they can be used to do bad stuff. We're going to look at a few of them today. And when they do that, sometimes APT gets sloppy. So in the Splunk instance, when you're in your job as a SOC analyst in the Splunk job, as a Splunk analyst or a SOC analyst, your job is to find those indicators of compromise. That's the stuff they leave behind. That's the rabbit trail. That's the fingerprints. That's the evidence that they leave behind to let you know that they've been in your environment. And sometimes they leave them behind because they're sloppy. It's not always that you can run and catch it. Sometimes they're sloppy. Sometimes they forget to clean up and they leave little things. And so what are indicators of compromise? These are your signatures, like for your IP addresses. These are your hashes to your files. These are, different domains, websites that these people are going to, your systems are going to. When we did that map that showed destination, excuse me, there's a way to view it to see what country it comes from. There's a way to view it to see what country your systems are going to. So in the SOC, you'll be able to do that. But indicators of compromise are file names, file hashes, IP addresses, URLs, mutexes. Mutexes are on the endpoint. That's endpoint stuff. This is a common interview question that a lot of hiring managers ask. If I gave you an indicator of compromise, what would you do with it? As a SOC analyst, sometimes the boss will come in and say, here's a file hash. Can you tell me if we see this on the environment? Here's an IP address that's making some malicious connections to our systems. Can you tell me what you see on the environment? You got to be able to take one of these IOCs and search it in Splunk. So today we're going to do that. Investigation. Now, let me show you something real quick. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see something. 1 second. I want you to see something today. When we talk about threat hunting, when we talk about going into Splunk and do threat hunting, I'm going to show you something real quick. Here we go. I'm sharing my screen. This is called the MITRE ATT&CK matrix. The MITRE ATT&CK matrix is used, again, this is showing you the different tactics, techniques, and procedures that can be used by adversary, the different ways that they can attack the system. As you can see, I'm on the Windows one. If I click on Windows, excuse me, there are different levels to this madness. Initial access, 9 different techniques. Execution, 10 different techniques. For a Windows system, persistence, to add persistence, 17 different techniques. Privilege escalation, to get more credentials or higher permissions on your Windows system, 12 different techniques. Defense evasion, which is the longest out of all of them, or the largest out of all of them. There are 32 different techniques that the attacker can do to hide from you on a Windows system. And you got to be able to figure out which one it was in your logs. But I'm going to look at something. Let's look at execution. I'm going to click on execution. And let's click on PowerShell. PowerShell is one of the live off the lab binaries that I would normally look for. Let me pull up this other list because there are many of them. If I go to LOLBAS, GitHub, somebody's doing a wonderful project on this. I don't know who the author is. They're doing a wonderful project on live off the lab binaries. This is what I would be looking for. And what I would do is I click here. I should be able to go here, category list, no, not category list. Is it README? Here we go. Boom. I'm gonna throw this link in the chat because I want you guys to know when we talk about threat hunting, when we talk about going in and doing threat hunting, I'm not just going in and just looking for, I'm being specific about my searches. So live off the lab binaries is what the attacker is going to end up using to do their malicious activity. Their job is to blend in. Their job is to not get caught. So here's a few of them. But the one I want to look at is look at certain util. I can use this to download a file and zip it up. I can use this to PowerShell script, save it as a PowerShell script. Alternative data streams, when we talk about exfiltration, I can use certain util to download something save it as another file and send it out. I can encode a file. There's an interview question out there that says, if you have a file name that doesn't have an extension to it, what would you do? I may be checking for certain util encoded commands on the system. Did they encode this file in a way that you can't see that file extension? I can decode stuff. So once I encode it, I can move it to wherever I want to move it to and then decode it. These are just some of the tactics that you're going to run into. But the one I want to live investigate, we're going to do a live investigation. I want to look up PowerShell. As you can see, they got a start process and they got a invoke command. These are the tools. Notice Kali Linux is not on here. When APT uses PowerShell, they're not using Kali Linux. They're using Empire, PowerSport, PoshC2, or PS Attack to run these commands. Here are the different APT groups. Advanced Persistent Threat. And it shows you what they're going to do when they use PowerShell. So if I'm talking about threat hunting, I'm talking about threat hunting on the endpoint first, then network. So when I do threat hunting, I'm not just looking at anything. I'm being very, very specific. So I'm gonna go to my Splunk, and what I want to do, I don't know if y'all can see my screen. Can y'all see my screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see my Splunk screen. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Watch this. We're gonna do a live event. Index equals. But we're talking about threat hunting. I'm looking for threats on my network. Browse version 2. Earliest equals 0. And we just saw what? We just saw PowerShell, right? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I want to look for this binary, PowerShell.exe. It's the command line on steroids. Now watch this. PowerShell.exe. Press enter. I'm going to view some events here. What I care about at this point is the command that is run. Because these particular tactics, they're running different commands. They can encode the command. They can do, sometimes it's invoke command. Let's say if I took that, I might throw that up there later. I'm just going to copy it because I may not need it. But I want to know the commands, right? So guess what I'm doing? I'm going to scroll down and look for the interested field that's going to give me the command. So if I see process command line, here's the command line. What I'm going to do, let's go ahead and add process command line to the, I'm going to add process. You don't have to follow, I just want you to watch what I'm doing. I'm going to add process command line to the top. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you the search afterwards. Events with this field. I want to see commands run by PowerShell. Now watch this. I'm going to do a stats count. Let's hit the stop. I'm going to hit the stop button. I'm going to do a stats count by process command underscore line. I'm going to do a pipe. And I'm going to do a rare limit because some of the PowerShell is normal activity. But I want to know how many least times have been run. Because when I see least times it was run, if I see least times it was run, that tells me that I'm dealing with some type of something I need to investigate. If you see something run 100 times and a whole bunch of times in the system, it could be legit. Most of the time it's legit. So I'm going to do a rare limit, rare space limit equals, let's do rare top 10, right? And what I'm going to do here, space, process command line, process underscore command line, underscore line, enter. This should give me my process command lines here, rare limit, right? That's top 10 is still searching. But I see something here. The hidden switch from base 64. I'm seeing a few things here that I feel like I want to investigate. I'm seeing some PowerShell being used in a hidden format. Because remember, they want to hide, right? They want to hide some things. This will require me to know some PowerShell commands at some point. They look like they're trying to bypass some things here. Windows update. Okay. I see this command here. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to click here. That's event. And guess what I'm going to do? Events with this field. I'm going to throw that up there. Now I'm seeing this big old search. Give me a thumbs up if you understand what this is. Nobody. Watch this. What if you see this in your network? This is a base 64 hidden encoded command. Now watch me. Somebody said base 64. Wonderful. Now watch this. Guess how I'm investigating this? I copy it. There's another tool we use called CyberChef. I use it on the malware side. It's open source, but you can download a local version of this. I go to CyberChef. What I'm doing, I'm going to input that command. I'm going to paste it. Here's my output. Guess what I'm going to do? From base 64, boom. Now I have something I can look at. Here we go. There is it's base 64 encoded, but it's still packed with some things, the dots. So now watch this. I'm going to go to the search and I'm going to do find replace. Find replace. And I'm going to drag that here. And I want to find that space. Let's do, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to do find and I'm going to replace with a, something like that. I have to try to clean it up. Let's do, da, da, da. I'm gonna have to do regex. There's a way to clean this thing up to where I can remove the dots. Anyways, let me go back. Non-alphabet characters. Yeah, I did that. Depending on your local instance, it will remove the dots from here. My job at this point is to take this command. Now I have indicators of compromise. I have the command line of what they're trying to do. In this command line, watch this. If I go to extract, right? I can extract domains, URLs. Why isn't that giving me to? Anyways, I have a URL here. Now watch this. HTTPS port 443. This command right here. Now, if I take this right, I could take this as a actual URL. Copy. Guess what I'm doing now? I'm going to open up a text pad. I always put when I'm dealing with you know, let me open this up. Don't worry about that. I'm going to paste this here. So I have, if I was to take this situation, I got HTTPS colon backslash 45.77.65.211 colon 443. And then it's saying add string. So I can add this string. Backslash admin / get.php. This right here is an indicator of compromise. They basically forwarded a command. Now at this point, that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna go to my event. Let's go back. Let's remove. I'm gonna go back. And what I need to do now, I'm gonna remove this rare limit. I need to know what workstation this came on, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to remove that stats count. Press enter. And I got computer name. So watch this. Stats count, no, stats values. Stats values. Process command line, process underscore, command underscore line, colon, end quote, sorry, in parentheses, by computer name. Press enter. I have a stats count so I can know what machine that thing ran on. I should be able to see it. So it ran on Mercy. So I have my user, right? Here we go. Stop. I got Venus. It ran on Venus. It ran on Mercury. Now watch this. If it's the same command, right? Guess what I can do? I could take this, copy. I could throw this up here. And for some reason, it escapes. So you have to do double lines for some reason when you put the file paths in. Somebody just gave me a tip. It is. Thank you, sir. Shout out to Greg. Here's my command. My PowerShell command. I got my URL. It's going to download some data. The data variable is set to whatever data length. This right here goes in my ticket. It gets deeper than this, but I'm just giving you a starting point of what we would do. I got 3 systems. So when I'm doing my investigation, I know 3 systems got this PowerShell script. Now, at that point, I got to figure out where it come back. Like, how did it get there? So I got 3 infected systems. This takes me to the next slide. Malware. These are a few questions. Now, these are not in order. These are just something I ask myself. If I'm in the SOC. Using Splunk to get that data, you got the data. These are the questions I would ask if I have a malware event. What happened? Number 1. Number 2, what time did it happen? Remember, time is our biggest thing when it comes to logs. What host was involved? Who was the user involved? Who was the user logged in? Or who was the user that was logged into the system at the time of the event? That matters too. So who was logged in at the time of the event? Because it could have spread from one person. How many systems are affected? We got 3. Where in the system is the malware located? It's in that file location path of PowerShell. Did the malware execute? I will have to figure that out. Were there any network connections made after the execution of the malware? I have to check that out. We saw that URL. So if I take that URL that I just had, where is it? If I take that URL that I just had and I see logs for this was a basic code in the command. If I see logs for this, that's what I'm doing. I gotta go check my network logs to see if I see connections. All right. Did the malware drop any other files? I gotta see if there are any other files. I'm pretty sure that command is dropping something else in PowerShell. Was anything exfilled from the system? They're talking about snatching some data. So I gotta see what data did they snatch. That's for malware. If I got phishing, sort of the same thing. What happened? Somebody got a phishing email. What time did it happen? Who sent the email? How many users received the email? Was the email forwarded to anybody? Did the email contain any links or attachments? Did the user click on any links or attachments? Two different things. Did anything drop on the box? So that means after they clicked on the link or the attachment, did anything install itself on the box or fall onto the system? If it did fall onto the system, did it execute? There are two, and we jumping into forensics, like some stuff that we talk about in my class. I'm either going to check the AMP cache. If I'm doing forensics, I'm checking the AMP cache folder to see if there's an existent, or SIEM cache to see if there's the existence of a file. That does not necessarily mean that it executed, but I'm checking prefetch if it did. How many users has the presence of this malware? We saw that PowerShell, we had 3 users had the presence of that type of malware. Were there any network connections after it executed? We need to know if there's a command and control server going on after the malware is executed. How many systems are infected? How many systems got this phishing email? How many systems have this type of malware? And was anything exfilled or taken out of the network? These are some things that I would ask in my investigation steps. They don't have to be in order. I just would ask these when I'm doing some type of analysis or investigation. Now you guys have a live exercise. I know it's a short period of time, but you guys have access to Splunk. And I just want you to answer these few questions. You can do it at 10 minutes. Do the best you can. If you get the answers, it's okay. If you don't, it's okay. Hopefully you can find something, and then we'll stop at 2 p.m. If you got any questions, throw it in the chat. Can everybody see the questions on the screen? Give me a thumbs up. A few thumbs up. Few. Okay, good. When it comes down to it, some of these logs. So if they're asking about phishing, guess what I'm looking at? SMTP stream. Stream : SMTP is the log that will tell me all email. Because SMTP, single mail transfer protocol, is a protocol used for email. Brian has a question. What you have? Post it in the chat. If I see SSL logs, guess what? I'm doing that search command to look for my logs and look for SSL. Source type SSL : and I'll put a wildcard up there on the source type. We talk about scheduled tasks. We didn't talk about scheduled tasks. Scheduled tasks is the actual scheduled tasks is an actual binary used to schedule tasks. APT uses it a lot to keep persistence. They will do something where they will download the malware, execute the malware, let it run, and then they will have a scheduled task, or they will do initial access. They will download the malware with a scheduled task, but they will wait. There's a wait command, because they know that once something touches your endpoint, depending on what type of antivirus you got, it will run a scan as soon as it touch. They will wait until the scan finished to run and decompress so it can bypass. And that's all about packing it. Like how we just saw that PowerShell script, it was packing. Oh, Brian, why you didn't ask that in the chat? Brian asked, I mentioned something about training. I do teach a class called the SOC Experience. We go through all of these. We go through all these hands-on. But some we use this data set and another data set, and then we use real life data set. Real life data set. Somebody asked about the class. So I'm in the private sessions now. I have 9 students. We just had an interview last week. I'll post something about the class. I want to graduate the 9 students out. They should be finished by next week. And it's pretty much how I would run, like what I would do. I'm pretty much teaching you the skill. The idea of it is to get you ready to go. If somebody was to call and say, I need you to work today, you should be ready to go. When people start new jobs, guess what they do? They sit you with somebody, you shadow them for a week because you got to start your shift the next week. That's how I view the training. You sit with me, I'm shadowing you, and I'm showing you things. Like how we just took that PowerShell script and decoded it base 64. You may have to do that on some times. Phishing emails. How do you break down a phishing email to tell me where it came from? What type of indicators would you pull from that? How do you do forensics? How can you tell me if something executed on the box? What forensics artifacts would you show to prove that something actually happened on your system? I teach all of that hands-on in my lab. I'm moving my lab right now my lab is at my house. So students are logging directly here. I'm actually moving all this to the cloud. So once it's up in the cloud, everything, I do all the checks, then I will open the class up to the public. I thought I was going to be done this week with the students, but I'm gonna have to push it back a little bit to make sure everybody finishes. Right. Somebody asked, who else asked the question? Let me see. Somebody said something about practice. Would you consider doing something like this for a MITRE attack? What do you mean? I'm not clear with that question. What do you mean? Do the class for MITRE attack? I teach the full MITRE attack in my class. So we actually go through the MITRE attack matrix. We explain it. And then when we get to the hands-on piece, we actually look at some of these and we create rules. We create rules for it. I'm gonna post this. Let me post this. My bad. I want to post this search in the chat. I'm pretty sure your environment is gonna have this. Now, somebody asked about. Let me put this. Take that chat. Take that. Take that search string. Put it on your text pad. We're almost at the 2-minute mark. If you've gotten some questions, if you're able to answer something, that's fine. Due to the time, I was going to go through and just answer these questions for you to figure out what's going on. But what we're going to do is, I have to continue on and just show you some stuff with the slides. And let's do that. We're going to do a hard stop. We're going to do a hard stop. Sorry to cut y'all off on that, because I know the time. Y'all time is important, and I know I went over a little bit. So just, the search strings that you put in to try to look for these, go ahead, copy those, put it in your text pad. I put the search for PowerShell into the chat box. Add that to your text pad. I want to show you something real quick. We're going to do a hard stop because I know time is it's going to take me time to go back and try to find the answers for you and show you how I would do it. But this is what you learned today. Let me show y'all what y'all learned today real quick. Can everybody see this screen? Give me a thumbs up. All right, cool. Now watch this. I'm gonna pull this one job up. Let me show y'all what y'all learned today. Paste. Can everybody see this? Give me a thumbs up if you can see this page. All right, watch this. Here we go. Security SOC analyst position. Guess what we went over today? This particular one, it's vague. It's pretty much vague. So if you got a certification at this level, we've went over Splunk, Saracata, that's Snort. You can say that. You guys are working independently right now. You're not asking for that much help. And you need to be able to get a public trust. But they ask for IDS detection. Guess what they're asking? Correlate actionable security events, various sources, including SIEM data. We just went over that. Utilizing understanding attack signatures, tactics, techniques, procedures associated with advanced threats. We just went over MITRE. Look at this. We didn't touch raw packet data, but we kind of did. Perform network traffic analysis. That's the Palo Alto, IDS, IPS. We touched that. That's what you learned today. Let me give you another one. Another one, intrusion detection analyst. Guess what? They want somebody at the tier 1 level. That's what you did. We didn't create no tickets though, but we were able to perform ad hoc analysis events incurred in the current SIEM, Splunk, and other SOC tools, not necessarily the other SOC tools, but Splunk, looking for what? Malicious activity and other security related events were not identified by the tool. So we was looking for a fail log on attempts, just different log sources looking for malicious activity today. We just saw PowerShell being used for malicious activity. That's what we learned. Let me give you another one. I hope y'all understand what I just kind of showed you a little bit of. So this one has same thing. Intrusion detection. No, that's the same one. I'm sorry. This is one of my favorites right here. I have a special heart for this place because I came from this place. They need a tier 2 incident response night shift person in Ashburn, and this is at CBP SOC. They need somebody who can correlate and analyze events and data. for cyber incidents. Acquire. So this is more forensics, so don't worry about that. Recognize attack techniques, procedures, indicators of compromise. That's your IP addresses, file name, your file hashes, your URLs. That can improve monitoring. Then we set up some dashboards. What else on here? Develop content such as scripts. We didn't do scripts yet. Signatures, we didn't do that. Alerts, we kind of didn't do that. We can save those searches as alerts if we want to. But we just did random searches. Content. We looked at content. We looked at the MITRE ATT&CK matrix and I created something based upon PowerShell. That's content creation. What else? You got to know your network protocols. Where is this stuff in? Stream, source type stream, Palo Alto. Recognize suspicious activity events. Look at your dashboard. Attack matrix, be familiar in how to utilize attack. Look at this. Experience PowerShell. Do I have experience in PowerShell? We didn't talk about that today. We didn't talk about like how to use it. All right. And another treat is this. The supervisor, is he on the call? Yeah. The supervisor that's going to interview you for the position is on the call right now. If you want to take a swing at this. But I guarantee you this. Let me tell you something. You got to know the rest of this other stuff. If you want to know the rest of this other stuff, they want you to have one of these certs, but I think they can make a pass if you know your skills. You worked independently today. I ain't had to go hunt you down. What else was I gonna say? You got to know this stuff if you want to interview now. But if you want to know like how to do all this stuff, you got to take my class. You got to take my class. I can show you how to do all this. This is my old spot. I want to come back and work for them again. I'm still thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. Here's another thing I want to give you this. Resume verbiage. You got a resume? Put this on your resume. Take a screenshot. Let me do this. I'm pasting it in the chat. That's your resume verbiage. I keep getting subtitles. You utilize the SIEM to monitor, identify, investigate malicious logic, misuse, alteration, compromise of data, endpoint threat detection, and incidents on the network. We did that. We performed analysis on various logs. We didn't just look at one log type, we looked at different log types to determine events, incidents, or false positives. We created a content search on the endpoint. Well, I did. We did a few of them. We looked for certain things on the endpoint, on network detection, on various tools, monitoring or mirroring the MITRE ATT&CK matrix. I pulled up the MITRE ATT&CK matrix. I showed you how I would go in and create a particular alert or a rule. And guess what I would do with that? I would throw that in the dashboard that we created. Boom. Any questions? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you learned something, a little bit something. I'm seeing claps. I'm seeing somebody put a red X. I'm joking. Somebody said go back. Who want me to go back? You want me to go back where? Is that a slowdown? Is somebody saying go back? Oh, that. Okay. I posted this in the chat. All right. Here we go. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for your time. If y'all give me a shout out on LinkedIn, I'm not on Instagram, But LinkedIn or Twitter, if you're on Twitter, I'm the Cyber Reverend, Commandante Bowie. If you're on LinkedIn, you'll find me at Marcus Bowie. And give me a shout out if you like the class, if you like it. There are some reviews I'm gonna send out to the people, like surveys or where I could do, because we're doing, this is just one class, but I'm doing 2 more classes. I'm doing one for Elastic, but that would be run with a company that is looking to intern people to hire. So they want me to use their environment. I'll be doing that with them in the next few weeks, and I will post that on LinkedIn. Now, if you're in the BCA chat, we're still trying to work out political situations there where they do not want me to post training like this in that chat. So what I would do is post it on LinkedIn. You'll find my stuff on LinkedIn and on Twitter. And a lot of it is word of mouth, because I don't really be promoting like that. A lot of it is word of mouth and stuff like that. But what I'm gonna do is I'll post it on LinkedIn. I'm gonna hashtag it, and people will do that. Shout out to all of my moderators. First of all, the wifey on the phone, she handling the kids, letting y'all in, giving y'all access, and she let me do this. So if y'all thank me, I need to thank her, because she let me actually do this for y'all. She let me to give me the chance to be able to teach y'all this type of skill. So I thank her big time. She's a #1 supporter of the business. She's #1 supporter for allowing me to do cybersecurity, and I like to teach. So and do the actual work. So so MaxProd Technologies is a gift to her. I put it in her name, but I'm just an operations guy. So thank you to her. Thank you to Pat Basilelli. He is the owner and founder of Mandaleo Lab. I have another one of my students on here. I think, where is he? I don't see him. We'll see. C is here. He's teaching me code from scratch. He's teaching me Python, teaching us Python code from scratch in the cloud environment. So I'm very, very grateful for him. I'm thankful for that guy. And that's how he helped me set up this lab for you guys. So shout out to him, Patrick Bisalele. If you see him on LinkedIn, give him a follow. We got some stuff that we're working on in the background that we're gonna post for everybody to see and be involved with. So I can't wait for that. Brian Budget, BCA scholarship winner. Very, very thankful for this guy. He's been on point, 100%. Very, very grateful that I was able to meet him. Thank you, sir. He called me in the wee hours of the morning. Sometimes he called me all the time, but that's okay. I'm gonna pick the phone up, if I ain't asleep or busy. But thank you, sir. I am very, very grateful for you. And then we got Chris Marlborough. If Brian Budge's in BCA, but Chris Marlborough's in BCA as well. And his name is Chris M. He does all my interviews he's my old supervisor on the Govy side, as a Govy. I used to work with him at CBP SOC. He's the one that's interviewing for that position. So if you guys are in BCA chat and want to take a swing at that tier 2 slot, you got to go through him at some point. So I'm thankful for him. He's been on point. I'm hearing that he was a rock star in the chat. And so thank you, Chris, for y'all selflessness, Chris, all of y'all for being selfless, helping me with this event so I can give back to the people. And I really, really appreciate that. And that is all I have. Y'all, thank y'all again. I hope y'all take those notes, put those in the chat. Now I'm gonna post the slides. I gotta go back, clean them up, make sure they're all right. Post the slides on my website, and I will throw my website out there on LinkedIn once I do my edits on that. The video, this should be posted on YouTube, hopefully. This should be posted on YouTube, and we should be okay. We should be okay. So thank you all. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. I'm going to end the session. Thank you all again. Hopefully I can see you guys at the next training event that I'm gonna host, which is the actual, The next one is Elastic. So YouTube, I gotta find that link. It's MaxProd Technologies. If you do a search for that, MaxProd Technologies, and it should be all right. Should be all right. I will post, if you're on LinkedIn, I gotta find it. I don't have it on hand, but I will post my YouTube channel on LinkedIn. So you guys will have all that. I will post information about my class on LinkedIn, my website. You will be able to go straight to my website and see stuff that you need to see. I had 9 students I got to graduate out. One just had her interview. She got one of the jobs that she interviewed for, so I'm happy about that. My class is not a job class, by the way. They're not paying me to get them a job. However, if I feel like, you know, they're understanding the material, or if I feel like they're trying to, if they want to take a jump, then I'll try to prepare in the best way I can to interview them. My job is to teach you the skills to do the job. If Chris interviews you, I don't know what questions he's going to ask. I just train you for the job. So thank you all. Give me a shout out on LinkedIn, Twitter, and I will see y'all at the next training. But you got to be quick. All right, y'all. Thank you.